Namaskaraha and welcome to our Yoganishta Jeevanam class. Welcome to all of you. So before we proceed further, I have a small quiz that we can see. I just want to see how much we have understood so far before we proceed further. So here are the list of questions. So I'll just call out on each of you and you can try to say what you have understood so far. You don't have to elaborate, you just have to explain you can explain in just in one sentence, right? So the first question is, how are human beings different from animals? Pushpalata Bhagini, do you want to say?
Bhagini. Your animals have only instinct for sleep, food, sleep and shelter. If all this is met, it is okay, but human beings need more than this, and that is Manava Dharma that comes for human beings.
Yes.
That doesn't stop with all these three.
Yeah, all the four: Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam and Maitunam. Yes, that is correct. Yes, very nicely said. So the animals have finite desires. They have finite desires, whereas human beings have infinite desires. So human beings are the one, they have the universal experience of being thrilled by things which are very big. Even though these things are not infinite, but they give a feeling of happiness momentarily. They awaken the feeling inside us. So inside every one of us we have this hunger for the infinite. Many of us do not know that we have this hunger for the infinite, but this is a universal quality. The thirst for the infinite within us is a universal quality, and the yogis of the past, several thousand years ago, they realized this and they developed a science around this. So then we also said that to understand yoga, we also talked about whether human beings are in the animal kingdom or not. And we said that this question is being taught by people in different spheres. From all spheres of life, this question has been discussed and thought about. And actually all living beings are in search of happiness. Not only human beings, all living beings want happiness, whether they are one-celled organism or plants or animals or human beings. Everyone wants happiness. So as we discussed, animals, their desire is limited and it is just characterized by four qualities: Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam and Maitunam. Ahara is food, Nidra is sleep, Bhayam means protection from any harm, and then Maitunam is procreation. So once all these desires are satisfied, then they are happy, they don't need anything further from this world. So their desires are finite. So if they are in a safe place, then their natural tendency is to sleep. But when you look at the human beings, what happens is that even after meeting all their basic physical desires, they have this thirst for the infinite. Their thirst is not quenched. They have a thirst which cannot be quenched by these physical desires. So whatever sphere of life in which someone is involved, there is an endless quest to further their name, proficiency, establishment in that area of business or art or politics or academics or whatever the field may be. So their efforts just go on endlessly without any ending. So we also said that there is a qualitative and not merely a quantitative difference between human beings and animals and plants, right? So we said that if we say the animals are moving plants, right, then that is not a satisfactory response. That is why we have two different categories, the plant kingdom and animal kingdom, because they are qualitatively different and not just quantitatively different. So human beings are able to easily identify these characteristics, right? So we are able to identify that this is plant and this is animal because of their unique quality. So the for instance, a mother points to a cow. Mother has a child, and then she shows the cow that is standing outside the house, and she tells the small child that, look, this is a cow. So then the child looks at the cow, and then he gets an idea about the cow. He understands the shape of the cow, and he looks at the features of the cow, and he understands how this is how a cow will look. And then the child says, okay, this is a cow. Then what happens is that later on, in some other place, when the child sees the cow, then the child is able to understand that this is a cow, and then the child says this is a cow. So how does the child understand that it is a cow? So the child is recognizing the commonality. So what it saw before and what it is seeing now, and that commonality is called as jati, or it is called as the dharma. So that by the jati or the dharma, each of them is placed in a separate category. So in yoga, unique distinguishing characteristics between different categories, the species, that is what is the dharma. So here I have the second question: what is the dharma of human beings? So Krutika Bhagini, do you want to say what is the dharma of human beings?
The human beings, in spite of having all the human beings, since we are evolved from animals, so we have the animal instinct, and the other extra instinct that we have is the desire for the infinite. So the dharma of the human being is to satisfy that desire, because the other four things which are common to animals, because we are more intelligent in that basis, so we have to try and recognize this desire within us and try to work towards it.
Yes, very nicely said. Beautiful, Bhagini. Thank you. So yes, the dharma of human beings is to seek the infinite. That is the dharma of the human beings. So and the dharma of human beings is to seek the infinite, and that is the unique characteristic that which is present only in the human beings and not in the other beings. So, and that is what is the dharma. It is used in the sense of a lakshana. So like for instance, the unique characteristics of fire is to burn, and anything that does not burn is not a fire. So how do we identify something as a fire? Is because that it has this unique characteristics of burning. So similarly, like water, the unique characteristics of water is to make things wet. So if something does not make things wet, then we will not call it as water. So there is a unique characteristics, just as with fire and water. So there is a unique characteristics in human beings as well. And we discussed if that could be intelligence, and many have talked about it, and some people have said that human beings are intelligent animals. But if we say that it is merely a quantitative difference and the degree of intelligence, then how satisfactory that response is, that kind of argument is. So that actually deserves more consideration. So even within the animal kingdom, there are degrees of intelligence. Like for instance, the monkey is more intelligent than the mice. So if we just say that human beings are just most intelligent animals, just as monkeys are more intelligent than mouse, then we can actually go up and down in different degrees of the spectrum. So but there is something which is not satisfying about this type of explanation. Actually there is a reason for having the word human being. Human beings are not merely intelligent animals. There is something qualitatively and not merely quantitatively difference. There is something more than a quantitative difference human beings have. So with that said, I want to understand, what do you mean by quantitative difference? So who's going to tell me? Reema Bhagini, do you want to say what do you mean by quantitative difference? Okay, Anupama Bhagini, do you want to say what do you mean by quantitative difference? Okay, who wants to say here? Chandra Mohoday, do you want to say? Chandrasekhar Mohoday?
Yeah, namaskar. The quantitative difference is like, if you have a measure of intelligence, someone who's more, humans are more intelligent than animals. But even with amongst animals, if we say, a monkey that can do some things is more intelligent than another lower animal that cannot do those things. So the quantitative difference is a measure of how intelligent we think animal, including human animal, is compare humans' intelligence to the lesser animals as a measure of intelligence. And there again, we turn around and say that wouldn't be a right measure to distinguish the humans from animals.
Yes. So what I want to actually clarify is that quantitative difference doesn't have to necessarily be with regard to only intelligence. So generally the word quantitative difference, as we see here, quantity can be with regard to any attribute. It can be regard to any guna. So the quantity doesn't have to be just with regard to intelligence, but even though in this context with regard to human beings and animals, the intelligence is one that is being widely talked about. So we talked about the intelligence, but when we say quantitative difference, it is a difference in the guna that is there in two things, right? For instance, that guna can be anything. It can be like, how tall one is, and on base of the height. Like for instance, we can say that compared to a monkey, human beings, they are more tall. They're taller than monkeys. So the height also could be one of the attributes. So it is a measure, the quantity. We can actually measure the height of a monkey and that of a human being. So that will be a quantitative difference. Or we can do that on the basis of the skin. Based on the skin, the type of skin that animals have and the type of the skin that human beings have, we can measure based on that. Or it can be based on the hair, the amount of hair that animals have compared to the amount of hair that human beings have. So it can be based on any guna. It doesn't have to necessarily be based on intelligence. The reason we talked about buddhi here is because it has been widely talked about in this field in comparing human beings and animals. But when we say quantitative difference, it is basically an attribute or a guna which is present in two things. But in two things the guna is present, but the quantity of the guna varies. It is present more in one thing and present less in the other thing, but that guna is present in both of them. So like for instance, if you say hair, like compared to mouse, the cat has more hair. Compared to mouse, cat has more hair. Mouse also has hair, cat also has hair, but the amount of hair actually varies between the two. So that is actually quantitative difference. Or if you look at the height, monkeys also have height, human beings also have height, but human beings are taller than monkeys. When we say that it is the height is present in monkeys, but it's less compared to what it is present in human beings. So that is what is the quantitative difference. It is present in both categories, but the quantity varies. So that is quantitative difference. So now let us look at what do you mean by qualitative difference. So Sharada Bhagini, do you want to say what is qualitative difference? Yeah, what is qualitative difference? There is like some background noise. Cannot hear you, Bhagini. There is like echo. Okay. Yeah, now try to say. Yeah, try. Yeah, yes, your the quality of the voice is not very very good. It's like Bhagini, I am not able to understand anything you're saying, Bhagini. There's a lot of background noise and echo. I'm not sure why.
Bhagini, not very clear, Bhagini.
Yeah, cannot. Bhagini, I'm so sorry. I'm going to put you on mute. Because we cannot understand anything. Okay, I'm sorry, Bhagini, but we cannot hear anything you're saying. We cannot understand what you're saying. There's a lot of background noise and echo. I'm not sure why. Okay, so Lakshmi Bhagini, do you want to say what do you mean by qualitative difference?
Sorry, Bhagini, I joined just now. I missed the first part.
No, it is just a question. No, it's not new. It was already covered in the previous class. I was just trying to see. It's just a quiz. You just have to answer in just one sentence. What do you mean by qualitative difference?
Sorry,
Achha. Okay, no problems. So who wants to say that? Krutika Bhagini, do you want to say?
Would we say the gunas, that would that qualify as qualities? The guna of each, whether he talks about animals or humans, the quality, the gunas that we humans have is the desire is making us different from the other rest of the animals or the plant kingdom.
Yes, it is the gunas. Yes. Yeah, I'm just going to put you on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
For a second. So it is actually, yes, you're right. It is the gunas. Whether it is quantitative difference or qualitative difference, in both cases it is the gunas. But the key difference is that you kind of touched on it. You said human beings have an infinite desire. So when we say qualitative difference, we mean that something guna which is present in one category but it is not present in the other category. It is basically asti and nasti. So it is there in one category but it's not there in another category. That we call as qualitative difference, which is like the dharma. So it is a unique characteristics which is present in one category but it is completely absent in another category. That kind of unique attribute is what we use to distinguish between different beings or between different groups. So for instance, when we talked about the plants, we said plants are padapaha. They drink through their feet. They drink through their feet, and that characteristics is not present in animals or it's not present in human beings. So that is the unique characteristics of plants. The same way, the unique characteristics of human beings is to seek the infinite, and that is the qualitative difference. So the difference between quantitative difference and qualitative difference is that quantitative difference is an attribute or a guna which is present in both the things, but it is the quantity which is differing. It is present in more quantity in one thing and present in less quantity in another thing. That is the quantitative difference. Whereas the qualitative difference is the guna or attribute which is present in one thing but it's not present in another thing. So that is the difference. So what we said is, in order to distinguish between the different kingdoms, the animal, human and the plant kingdom, we said that we have to look for this unique characteristics. Based on that, we can place them in the different buckets. So in the case of human beings, that unique characteristics is to seek the infinite, and that is what we call as the dharma, or the lakshanam that we call in Nyaya Shastra. It is called the dharma. So that is what is responding to the next question. so why is the qualitative difference considered as dharma? Why is the qualitative difference considered as dharma? So Anupama Bagni, do you want to say? I think I just kind of touched on that right now. Anupama Bagni. Okay, if that is the case, then Lakshmi Bagni. Okay, you're not able to unmute, or what is the issue? Okay, Pushpalata Bagni, kindly answer.
It is a unique, this one present in each and every, each character, each kingdom. So it is defined as lakshana, because that is distinct now as lakshana of human beings is to seek infinite.
Okay, so that is why
so different. So it is that uniqueness is defined as dharma, as lakshana. Sorry, lakshana.
Yes, as dharma or as lakshana. Yes, you're right. Yeah. So correct. So the qualitative difference is being considered as the dharma because that is the unique characteristics which helps to distinguish between the two different categories, right? So in order to clearly define what human beings are, we need to look at the unique characteristics which is only present in human beings but not present in any other category. That is what we are looking for. If we are looking at only the quantitative difference, then the question arises, if it is only for instance, if you are using the intelligence and we are saying human beings are most intelligent or more intelligent compared to animals, it is only on the basis of intelligence, then the question arises why we cannot put the human beings into the animal kingdom if it is only based on intelligence. But we do have a separate kingdom, a human kingdom, and the reason for that is because we are qualitatively we are different. That is why we have been categorized as human beings and not as animals. So that qualitative difference, that unique characteristics, is called as the dharma. So we find in our yogic inquiry into this matter that if we step back and we look at the way humans behave, we find that there is this infinite desire within human beings which animals do not have. Animals, they have only the ahara, nidra, bhayam and maitunam. These four qualities all animals have, and human beings also have. As we talked that human beings have evolved from animals, even human beings have these four qualities, but these four qualities cannot completely satisfy human beings. Even after being in a place and even having a full belly, human beings go on like thinking about what they are going to do in the future. They have this insecurity. They're always thinking about their planning for the future. Whereas animals, they live in the present. For animals, there is no future tense or there is no past tense, only present tense. They live in the present. They don't know what happened last year, and they don't think about what is going to happen in the future. There is no insecurity. They don't human beings are the one always thinking about the past, what happened in the past and what is going to happen in the future. We keep thinking about it. Human beings think about these things. So these things that they think, these things are joined together by the common thread of desire, which has no end, which knows no end. So this is the dharma of human beings, is having the infinite desire, right? So now the question is, what is yoga? What is yoga? What did you understand from what is yoga? So Chandrasekhar Modaya.
Namaskar. Yoga is one that teaches us, teaches the humans how they can get the same feeling of looking at that. I think let me back up. The humans are viewed as, when we see big things, we humans really like it because it invokes in them that that desire, of infinite. And yoga teaches us that you can get the same feeling of that infinite desire without looking at mountains or oceans or the sky. You can get the same feeling even with your eyes closed or what have you. So it gives the humans that infinite desire without having to look at something that's infinite.
Yes, correct. So yes, you're right. So the yoga is the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. Yoga is the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. It is a union of the finite with the infinite. Union of Jivatma with Paramatma. That is what is yoga. So yes. So moving on. So what dharmas do human beings have? Sharada Bhagini, are you able to say now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, there is no echo, right?
No echo.
Okay. What dharmas do human beings have? Okay. A lot of, I think one is thinking. You can really think, plan, implement, or you keep on going around in circles and think about past, present, future. That could be another. Am I right? Going on the right track, or?
So the dharma is basically the unique characteristics we said, right? The unique characteristics is what is the dharma. And the unique characteristics of human being, what is that?
Something to do with behavior and the mind?
No, the unique characteristics of the human beings is to seek the infinite.
Okay.
To seek the infinite. That is the unique characteristic. Yes, that is the unique characteristics of. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We want more and more. Though we have almost everything that you just require for your daily life, you still keep on wanting desires.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we want more. So what we do is we try to satisfy that infinite desire with finite things. But what we are actually seeking is we are seeking the infinite. Until we get the infinite, we will be running after these finite things. Right? These finite things don't satisfy us. We're not realizing that these finite things don't satisfy us. And without realizing that, we are keep running after the finite things. But the matter of the fact is that we have an infinite desire, and that infinite desire can be satisfied only by the infinite thing. An infinite thing only can satisfy the infinite desire. A finite thing cannot satisfy the infinite desire. A finite thing is anything physical in the world. Any physical object in the world is a finite thing. Right? Money, wealth, power, everything, these are all finite things, and these things cannot satisfy the infinite desire you have. And that infinite desire is the dharma. One of the dharma is the dharma of human beings. Not one of the dharma, it is the unique dharma of human beings. But what we have to realize is that we have evolved from animals. We have evolved from animals. So we have two dharmas within us. We also have the animal dharma within us. We have the animal dharma within us, and we also have the human dharma, which is to seek the infinite. So the next question is, which dharma is predominant in most humans? Reema Bhagini? Or Lakshmi Bhagini?
Yes. They have the human beings have the thinking power. They can think about the past. They can think about the future. They will be worried about the future.
No, but we said there are two dharmas, right? One is the animal dharma and the human dharma is the infinite. There are two dharmas, the animal dharma and the human dharma in human beings.
Human
because
dharma
we have
is predominant in humans.
Human dharma is actually, it will become predominant when we realize it. When we think we have the infinite desire and start working towards that, then the the human dharma will become predominant, but in 99.9% of the human beings, the animal dharma is predominant, because we are constantly only thinking about finite things, right? We are constantly thinking about food, we are constantly thinking about money, we are constantly thinking about having a good house, constantly thinking about going and buying something. So these are all finite things. These are all the pashu dharma. These are all pashu dharma. So in most of the human beings, pashu dharma is predominant. Okay. So then the next question is, what happens when the inner eyes open? Anupama Vagini, you want to say? Or Pushpalata Bhagini?
What happens when the inner eye opens? We start seeking the infinite.
Yes, wonderfully said. Yes, that is all it is. So when the inner eyes open, then we start working towards seeking. We seek the infinite. We seek the infinite. We do everything. We take that path to seek the infinite. Okay. So then we also talked about what are the benefits of yoga. So you guys can tell what are the benefits of yoga. Anyone can tell.
Happiness.
Yes. So we said there are three levels of benefits, right? The physical level, mental level, and also spiritual level. You have benefits at 3 levels. So physical level, what did we say?
The asana part of the thing. So if you keep your body fit, the mind which resides in the body too will be fit.
Yes. So it yes, the asanas and also the ahara and all those aspects will help us to keep the body in a pristine condition. It will keep the body in a healthy condition. Actually, in fact, much even more than healthy. It will keep us in a very good condition, and that way you can be energetic, positive, and you can prevent all diseases. Right? You can prevent BP, diabetes, heart attack, stroke. All these diseases we can be avoided by adopting the yogic lifestyle. And then at the mental level, what are the benefits?
You can control your mind better.
Makes the mind calm.
Yes.
Then
yes.
You can cleanse your mind actually.
Yes.
To seek the infinite.
Spiritual level. Spiritual level. Say.
The spiritual level, more the inner. What to say? Jivatma. Paramatma can be. You can go to seek the Paramatma actually from the Jivatma.
Yes, the realization of you can achieve the union of the Jivatma and Paramatma at the spiritual level. Then also another thing is that not only spiritual progress, but also you will get the unique thing about yoga, which you will not get from anything else, is you will develop this samatva bhava. That samatva bhava, you will feel that everything in this universe, every being in this universe, from plant, animal, human beings, everything is my brother and my sister. That kind of samatva bhava, you will treat others the way you would like to be treated, right? That samatva bhava is developed only through yoga. You cannot develop it through any other means. You develop that samatva bhava through the yogic practices. So that is also one of the key benefits at the spiritual level. So having done a quick revision, now let's go into the topic for today. So far what we have done is only a recap and quiz. Now we will go into the today's session. So the topic. So we said that human beings have animal dharma and human dharma, but different living beings have their own dharma. All animals and everything in this universe has its own dharma. Mice, cats, monkeys, everything have their dharma. Human beings have a unique dharma which differentiates them from all animals. But there is something more about this difference which is unique to the humans. That is this. There is something very unique only in human beings. Is that with the exception of humans, all other beings whether living or non-living, have no option but to follow their dharma. We said animals have dharma. Animals have their own dharma, plants have their own dharma. But each of these beings have no option. They have no option but to follow their dharma. But when you look at the human beings, we have a choice. We have a choice. We have two dharmas. We have animal dharma and the human dharma, and we have a choice. We have the swatantra ichha. We have the option. We have the vikalpa of whether to follow the animal dharma or to follow the human dharma. This kind of option is not available for other beings, whether it is living or non-living. Other beings does not have this option. For instance, a cow, it cannot act like a horse or an elephant. A cow has no option but to act like a cow. Similarly, a goat has to act like a goat. And a rock has to act like a rock. A fire has to act like a fire. They have no option. But when you look at the human beings, because of this upadharma called as free will or swatantra ichha, the swatantra ichha is the upadharma that human beings have. They have an option to choose what they are going to do in this life, and that is a very, very powerful option. They can choose whether they want to follow the animal dharma or they want to follow the human dharma, and this option is available only for human beings, not for other beings. And this is a very, very powerful option. We can choose which dharma we want to follow, whether we want to follow animal dharma or human dharma. So most people who are not aware of the human dharma will inevitably end up following animal dharma without even knowing. Without their own knowledge, they will end up following animal dharma because they do not know that they have the human dharma. In other words, they are not doing it consciously because they are not aware of their human dharma. So then automatically their tendency is to follow the animal dharma. They are not even realizing that they have the option. They have the option to choose. They have the swatantra ichha. So that is another key thing that is there only in human beings, the swatantra ichha. The swatantra ichha is not there in animals or plants or any other being. It is there only in human beings. We have the option to choose between the human dharma, whether to follow the human dharma or to follow the animal dharma. And in 99.99% of the cases, people do not realize the human dharma and they end up following the animal dharma. Okay, so who is going to sum this up for me? Sharada Bhagini, do you want to try? Okay, in that case, Krutika Bhagini, kindly try to summarize.
Or each species has its own dharma. Like if you would take, and the human beings have a special choice. I mean, have a special thing where we have the desire for the infinite. But if we do not recognize that, then we end up being in just like the animals, and the four things, that is to eat, drink, sleep, and procreate. And we don't know. So many of us are ignorant that the human beings have that particular thing, and we are given the choice of a free will. I mean, where we can exercise our free will. So we need to recognize, mainly is 99.9%, as you said, people do not recognize that we do have a special desire for the infinite, and we end up being in the rigmarole of wanting for more of everything.
Yes, that is correct. Put you on mute for the yes. Okay. So yes, the human beings. The unique thing about human beings is that they have this upadharma, which is called as the free will. So because of this free will, they have the choice. They have the option whether to follow the human dharma or animal dharma. And we also said that most human beings do not know that they have this choice. They do not know that they have the infinite desire. First, they do not know that they have the infinite desire, and second is that they do not know that they have this choice. So life after life after life, we have been following the animal dharma. So we have been following the animal dharma from after janma, we've been following the animal dharma. So that is like the known path for us. So when we don't know that we have this option, then we automatically we follow the known path. Following the known path is easier. Following the unknown path is difficult. You need to struggle. So most people do not realize. So then they automatically end up following the animal dharma. So we also further said, just like a baby, when it has hunger, it does not know that it is hungry, and then it just goes on crying because it is hungry, but it does not understand what the problem is and what the solution is also. It doesn't know the problem and also doesn't know the solution. So what it might just do is that it might just put its thumb in its mouth, not knowing or not realizing that it's not going to solve the problem. So it may just, when it puts its thumb in the mouth, it may just stop crying for a moment, and then again it realizes it is hungry and it may still go on crying. So human beings have an infinite desire, but they do not understand this fact. So majority do not know. It's just like the baby. We have the infinite desire, and it drives our behavior. So most human beings do not know or do not understand what is going on. So to quench this infinite desire, they go on trying to satisfy with finite things, just like a baby is trying to satisfy its hunger by putting its thumb into its mouth, and it does not work. In the same way, human beings are trying to quench the infinite desire with finite things, not realizing that these finite things are not going to quench the infinite desire. So it is exactly the similar problem, just like the baby, right? So then what happens is that we have the animal dharma along the human dharma, and we are familiar with the animal dharma, so we go on performing animal dharma related activities by default. Either it is like food, or it is running after money, or running after any finite thing. That is what we spend most of our time. So every finite thing that we do is animal dharma. Every finite thing, whether it is the food or anything, any limited object in the world, anything in this world, any object in this world, they are all finite things. All the objects of this world, they are all finite things. So any finite thing, every time we do a finite thing, then it is actually animal dharma. It is not human dharma. So simply observing the dharma of animals makes a man human on the outside and animal on the inside. If we keep following the animal dharma, then we are just outside. We are human beings. We look like human beings, but inside we are actually animals, because we are not following the human dharma. We are following the animal dharma. Therefore, we are animals inside. And we do not realize. Human beings do not realize that there is a war. There is a war which is going on within each of us between the animal dharma and human dharma. We don't even realize that there is a war going on. And when we do not realize, then automatically we default to animal dharma. That becomes like the default. So no matter how much money capitalists may accumulate, no matter how many airplanes they may collect, no matter how much of fame a musician gets, or power, prestige, money, or whatever the area may be, a person excels in, but they can never be satisfied by those things, because all of those things are finite things. But human beings have an infinite desire. So the finite thing can never satisfy the infinite thing. So it's not correlating. So then human beings get dissatisfied. They do not get any satisfaction by accumulation of these finite things, and these finite things cannot quench their infinite desire, just as a baby who does not understand. So like that, vast majority of human beings just go to their deathbed without understanding what the problem is, and they always feel dissatisfied. They feel something is missing, even though they may be having everything in life. They may be having money, they may be having power, they may be having everything, but still they feel something is missing in life, and something goes on, because of which they never get satisfied, and they do not understand this, and they just die without understanding this basic thing. This is the most of the circumstances. This is the human condition. So, but some of the Western writers, they say that this human condition is a very, very sorrowful condition. They do not understand. Actually, they don't understand. So for a yogi, it is never like that. Yogi never accepts like that. For a yogi, he doesn't consider the human condition as a wretched condition or a sorrowful condition. So yogi considers human condition as a very glorious condition. The glory of it is conditional on understanding what the nature of the situation is. One has to understand the nature of it. That is to say, humans have the infinite desire. So we have been developed from animals. The Darwinian evolution is actually true. In the beginning of the planet's existence, there were no living beings. We'll actually talk about this later, even in our Karapatrams later. So initially there were no living beings on the earth, and slowly life developed. Right? It started with one-celled organisms, and then due to continuous struggle, clash and cohesion, due to struggle, then the development started, and more complex beings started to develop, and gradually they became multicellular beings, and gradually they became plants and animals, and ultimately human beings. So we've all developed from animals. Human beings have developed from animals. So we have within us the animal dharma and the human dharma, but vast majority of the people do not realize that they have these two dharmas. So therefore they end up spending their whole life just doing the animal dharma, just following the animal dharma. Okay, so who is going to sum this up for me? Lakshmi Bhagini, you want to summarize?
Okay, I shall try. Human beings have animal dharma and human dharma, but most of the people do not realize that they have the human dharma. They always try to collect more wealth, more finite things. So that is by default they do these activities. They want to acquire more and more of the finite things, even though they want to. They do not know about the infinite. So what we do is animal dharma only, but this is the time. But yogi will not accept the glory of the humans, because there is always a war going on between animal dharma and human dharma. They can choose, but most of the people do not know that they have the power. So that is independent thing, that icha is there within them.
Yes, Bhagini.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So we because we have evolved from animals, so we also have the animal dharma within us. So animal dharma is the known path. So generally it is the common behavior of human beings to always use the known path. People don't like change. So something, if it is known path, then we easily follow it. We are very familiar with it. We just keep on doing that. We don't want to tread the unknown path, right? So that there is, most of them do not even realize that there is a struggle going on within us. There is a war going on within us. Most of them don't realize that there is a svecha within us. There is a free will. We can choose between the two. They don't realize. Most people don't realize that they have an infinite desire. So most people don't know any of these things. So then what happens is that they automatically default to the animal dharma. So it's just like a baby who is hungry, trying to satisfy the hunger, putting the thumb into the mouth. Similarly, human beings, they try to satisfy their infinite desire with finite things, and the end result is what? Is that they never get the satisfaction. They die without getting the the infinite desire. So that is what happens in most human beings, right? So, and we also said that the human condition is not a wretched condition. Human condition, some people say, oh God, it is oh God, I've taken this human birth, it's very sad that I've taken this human birth. And some people sympathize with that condition, human condition, but it is not like that. Yogi never accepts that. He says that we have taken this birth after a lot of struggle. We've got this human birth after a lot of struggle, so we should not waste this human birth, right? We never know what birth we will get next time. We never know whether we will be animals or plants, or we don't know. Depending on our actions, we never know what birth we will get. We've got this birth after a lot of struggle. We've got this human birth, and therefore this human birth is a glorious condition. It's not a sad condition. It's not like I should say, oh my God, I got this human body. It's not like that. It's a glorious condition because it is giving you the opportunity to seek the infinite. That opportunity you were never going to get if you're an animal or a plant. To seek the infinite, that opportunity is available only when you are a human being. Only with this human body and mind you can attain the infinite. And that therefore Yogi never considers the human condition as a wretched condition. He says it's a glorious condition. It is an opportunity for all of us to utilize this life to seek the infinite, which you will never get an opportunity because you never know how you're going to take another birth, right? Okay, so moving on. So there is, in human beings, there is a duel, there is a struggle, there is a fight going on, constant fight going on between the two, the animal dharma and the human dharma. So the question is, in any human being, which of these is going to prevail? Whenever there is a war going on, there are two sides which are fighting. So over here, the animal dharma and the animal dharma and the human dharma, they are on the two sides, and there is a fight. And if one side is not fighting, then the side which is fighting is going to be victorious. In most human beings, what happens is there is no fight going on. The animal dharma is predominant and they automatically default to that. So there is not even a fight going on. So for people, it is like a one-sided battle because they don't realize. So humans who do not understand that there is this duel or a battle going on between the animal dharma and human dharma within them, then what they do is they automatically lose by default. They automatically default to the animal dharma. So they don't even get up and engage in that battle. The animal dharma is within them, and it is a familiar territory. It is very familiar going through the animal life through the ages, age after age. We have taken the birth, going through the animal life. Ahara, nidra, bhayam, maitunam is very so predominant. So automatically we go there. But for human beings, for animals it's just ahara, nidra, bhayam and maitunam. But for human beings, what we do is we extend that animal swabhava to all the other finite things, trying to any endeavor to satisfy the human thirst with finite things as the manifestation of animal dharma within them. Animal desires finite things. Animals don't desire the finite objects, but they desire finite things. The human's infinite desire cannot be satisfied these finite things. And the question is, we all look like humans outside, but inside, the animal dharma is predominant. We look like humans on the outside, but there is but the nature that is predominant inside is the animal swabhava. So vast majority of people do not realize that there is a battle going on. So when we don't realize there is a battle, then we don't engage in that battle. So automatically we lose that battle. So they tread the known path. The known life is animal life, which is known for ages. So they are humans on the outside and animals on the inside. The struggle with which yoga is intimately involved is the struggle to become human beings. How can we become human beings? That is the struggle of yoga. Starting out as children, we were all human on the outside and animal on the animal inside. Like for instance, when we took birth, or a newborn baby, what it does is it is only engaged in animal dharma. It is eating and sleeping, so it is fully animal dharma. Then gradually becoming human on the outside and inside. So yoga, what is yoga doing is it is teaching us how to become human beings both inside and outside. How we can become human beings inside and outside. That is what yoga is teaching us, right? How to struggle in this life and attain the infinite. how to become a human both inside and outside. That is what yoga is actually teaching us, how to follow the human dharma, because that is what is our ultimate goal, right? So there is a constant struggle going on. So which side is going to win is the question for each human being. Okay, Chandra Mahodaya, do you want to explain what I just told?
I think there's what we said, that we all, that humans don't realize that they have human dharma, and they just succumb to just using animal dharma in an attempt to satisfy that desire for infinite. And they're never going to succeed if they just keep following the animal dharma to ultimately achieve that desire for infinite, which is a human dharma. So there's a constant struggle inside between the animal dharma and human dharma. Because if you don't recognize the human dharma, you just succumb to continuing to use the animal dharma. But the struggle is that's never going to satisfy, because the real nature of the human is a human dharma, which is the desire for infinite. So the constant struggle that is going through, that you're going through, yoga tries to go through the same struggle. Yoga has the same struggle because it tries to lift the human and make them aware of that human dharma, get them to recognize the human dharma and get them to recognize that the desire for the infinite, and get them to reach the ultimate of Paramatma out of the jiva. That's what yoga is constantly struggling, is to get the human with that cycle.
Yes, Mahodaya, nicely said, very nicely said. Thank you for it. Yes, so we have this constant struggle going on. Most people don't realize, and they automatically get defeated, and they tread the known path, which is the animal dharma. And for those people who become aware that there is this the human dharma as well, then for those people, they get actively engaged in the struggle between the human dharma and the animal dharma. So yoga actually teaches us how to become a human being both inside and outside, how we can defeat the pashu dharma, and how we can make the human dharma win. That is what yoga is actually teaching us, how to become a human being both inside and outside, how to follow the human dharma, which is to seek the infinite, is what is the subject of yoga. Okay. Anybody want to say anything? Okay, so we will actually stop over here. Do you guys want to say anything or have any questions?
Do we also have some asanas as part of this session or
yes.
this session?
No, asanas we will be learning in the shivir. We will have a shivir and we will be learning in the shivir. So asanas, it's not difficult to teach the asanas over the conference call. So it will be in person. Or if you guys are interested, we can actually do just a separate session, for the asanas.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll stop over here. Dhanyavadah. Namaskarah.
Namaskaraha bhagini. Dhanyavadah.
धन्यवादः
धन्यवादः नमस्कारः
Dhanyavadah.